Seriously? We're reviewing another fridge? We're reviewing another fridge. Funny thing in this YouTube line of work, you create a video that does pretty well, and before you know it, you're gonna have other companies that offer the same product hitting you up wanting you to review theirs. My very first fridge, the Iceco JP50, my wife and I saved up for a couple of months to buy that thing, did a review on it, and then now I am being hit up by different companies to review their fridges. This is the third fridge that I am being sent from one of those companies, and now we have 4 fridges here in the garage. I told you, in the off season, I'm turning one of my rigs into an ice cream truck. But I accept these offers from these different companies because I want to review all these different fridges for you guys. Everyone has different budgets. Everyone is looking for different things when it comes to fridges, and I want to be able to give you guys that kind of variety. But I'm actually really excited about this one. This thing is jam-packed full of features. This is the Bodega 45-liter fridge, and when I got it, it came in a humongous box, and on the side of that box it said Apocool Industries. It doesn't say Apocool anywhere on the fridge, but I know that a lot of you are aware of who Apocool is. You have brought it up to me in some of my past videos saying that you have the Apocool and it's a champ and it works really, really well. If it's coming from that same company, then I am hoping that it has that same kind of reliability that a lot of you have experienced with them. This one's probably going to go in the 4Runner because it has the same kind of capacity that our Iceco has. I'm just hoping that it performs really well. So yeah, let's just get to it. This is 45 liters or 47 quarts. Comes in 3 different colorways. The one they sent me was a navy blue. Now, personally, I'm not a huge fan of navy blue. I looked on their website. They have a dark gray version. Wish they would have sent me that one, but hey, no one's complaining. Not enough the camera's picking it up, but they added this kind of speckled finish to it. Like if you look really closely, there's all these silver speckles. Kind of gives it that metallic look, and it's not overbearing. It's really subtle. It looks really nice on the blue, but I think it would look really, really nice on that dark gray. Now this comes with wheels already attached. Now some of you might be looking for a fridge with wheels on them. You might want to remove it from the rig, roll it to the beach, roll it to a picnic area. Me personally though, once I mount a fridge to the cargo area of a vehicle, it pretty much stays and I never take it out. And what I don't want wheels on them because if I'm hitting the brakes, I don't want it to go rolling back and forth. It looks like this can be removed pretty easily though. There are a couple of bolts here. It looks like I just have to unbolt it and the wheels will come off. Now speaking of removing this from the vehicle and rolling it around somewhere, you might be wondering, okay, well, how am I going to power the thing up if there's no outlets nearby? Well, you can bring one of those power banks like your Jackeries, your Gold Zeros, your Blue Eddies. The only problem is to power up a fridge like this, you're going to need to bring one of their bigger power banks, and those things are pretty large, and that's just one other thing you got to bring with you. Well, check this out. Here you have this little compartment and you can drop in one of their batteries. I think that is an awesome feature. Now you can plug in one of their batteries, you don't have to drain your power banks, and you can roll this around anywhere you want. I wish they would have sent me one. It would have been cool to be able to just drop that in and not utilize any of the power banks that I have already, especially if you're camping, overlanding too, and you want to unplug this from your vehicle so you're not draining your vehicle's battery. Just drop in one of their batteries and that'll continue to run this fridge without you needing anything else. Speaking of powering it up, right below you have your inputs. You have your 12 and 24 volt receptacle. There's only one receptacle, but they give you 2 different plugs. You have your AC for the home and DC for the vehicle. Either of these will fit in that. Versus the Iceco, there's one for DC and one for AC, and they both have different socket types. So it's hard when you can't see the back of the fridge and you're trying to figure out where is what and trying to fit it all in. I like that either of these will fit in that and it's not going to be a problem. I also like that these have these grips. There's these thumb and finger grips that you can just grab and pull. Versus the Iceco, it doesn't have that. I'm always having a hard time putting it in and then pulling it out and putting it in and pulling it out and putting it in and pulling it out. And then next to that, you have solar. So if you have your solar panel, you can plug this right to solar and get power that way. Right over here, you have a handle. It doesn't retract. The other fridges that I have, once you pull it, it snaps back in place. This is kind of just... You can remove this, but I am going to keep this because I need a way to cinch this down in the vehicle. And then right above that, you have a can opener. I swear everybody likes putting can openers on everything. And moving over to the other side, the handle, I like handles like this. If you're going to put this in the back of the rig on a fridge slide, then you can just grab this and kind of pull it. Now, if you roll this outside of the vehicle, there's some quick releases right here. You just press it down and this comes right out, and you can extend that handle and roll it wherever you want. And it does lock in place. It's not going to move. And when you're done, just go ahead and press these buttons right here, and then that'll lock that back in place. It's covered in this faux leather material. The Set Power that I have has the same kind of material, and it also has the same exact kind of rip along here. And I know that it's because of the stress of the curve over here. It starts to put stress on this fabric. If this was real leather, it would not be doing that, but because it's not, you're gonna get some stress areas. It's sad because it actually came this way, and in the Set Power, it's already ripped completely. So I might just remove it and just leave the powder coated metal underneath. Now right up at the top, you have your control panel. I'm not gonna go into it right now just because I'm gonna show you how to work it later. And then below that, you have a quick reference guide on how to operate this thing. You also have a USB port right here. It's a USB-A port, so if you want to charge up phones, iPads, whatever, you have a USB port for that. Now on the lid itself, you have this little bit of an indentation. This is cut to a specific size, and I'll show you why that is. And then next to that, you have 4 slots for your cups. On Amazon, it says ingenious cup and slot design. Ingenious. Okay. Speaking of the lid, clasping system, it's decent. It doesn't feel as robust and as claspy, I guess, as my Iceco one, where you have to kind of open it a little bit and then clasp it down and it locks into place. I mean, it's not gonna go anywhere. It feels pretty secure, but just one little thing and this thing kind of opens up, like just one little touch, and it's already kind of popping open on you. What I do like about this lid though is that it's a two-way lid. So right now I have it facing where the logo is, but if I wanted to, I can go ahead and lift this up, and then this starting right here will pop up right here, and then this slides out like that, and then you would basically do the same thing. This little nub goes inside this hole here, and then this just slides in. There you go. Now you have it going the other way. Inside the lid, rubber gasket going all the way around creates a really tight seal. And here's a cool feature. It comes with a cutting board, and I can never have enough cutting boards. It seems like I always need a cutting board at some point, and I like that it's built into this whole system, because let's say you're bringing this to the beach and you're cutting up some fruit or cutting up some limes for your Coronas or whatever, then you have yourself a cutting board on hand. And remember earlier when I showed you that little indent on the lid itself, that's pretty much for your cutting board. I mean, look at that. Pretty cool thing to have it on there. This is dual zone. You have a fridge on one side, smaller freezer on the other side. Me personally, I would rather have one big open space because we never use the freezer. My other fridges do have a divider you can put in and then set a freezer temperature on one side and then fridge on the other, but I found that those dividers never really create a tight seal, so you never really get the temperature like appropriate on each side. It tends to kind of bleed into one another. Here, it is permanently separated. Like there's no divider you can remove. It's already divided for you. What you can do is you can set both sides to be the same temp. If you don't plan to use a freezer, just set both sides to be 35 degrees. And what's cool about that then, cool, you can put your smaller or quick grab items in the smaller area, and then you can get your meals and bigger stuff in the bigger area. You do get a basket for your fridge, and then you get a much smaller basket for your freezer. So what I plan to do is make this into a fridge and not use the freezer function at all, and then put all of our like drinks and quick grab stuff on the smaller one and put that in there, and then get all my meats and vegetables and all of our meals, put that in here, and then that'll go in there. So I really like that functionality. You also get 2 lights, which I am super happy about. If you've seen my past videos, one of the complaints I've had are the other fridges I have didn't have a light inside. My Iceco has one, but the other 2 fridges I got, there is no light inside, which makes it difficult to kind of see in the dark. But this has 2 lights. You have 1 light for the freezer section, and then you have a light for the fridge section. And finally, one of the best features that this thing has that my other fridges don't have, this is app controlled. So you can download an app and then monitor this fridge, change the settings without having to go to the fridge. So if you're sitting around the campfire and you want to see what the temperature is on your fridge, you can go ahead and do that. I think that's a great thing if I'm in my rooftop tent at night and I want to just check to make sure that the fridge is still going and that it hasn't died yet or killed my battery. I'll be able to take a look and see if it's still running and make some necessary adjustments as needed. All right, let's talk specs. This is a dual zone large capacity fridge, 45 liters or 47 quarts. The interior dimensions for the fridge side, you're looking at 12.16 inches going this way. You have 12.99 inches from top to bottom, and then you have 10.59 inches this way width. And then for the freezer side, you get 12.16 inches this way. You have 6.06 inches in depth, and then wideness is 7.87 inches. This compressor has a 3-year lifespan. I'm guessing that's 3 years of it consistently running. So I guess if you're not running it 24 hours a day like you would with your home fridge, it'll last you a lot longer than 3 years, because 3 years does seem a little bit short. This does have 3 levels of voltage protection: high, medium, and low, and that's really important. If you're plugging this up to your vehicle's battery, what you don't want is this thing draining your battery and then you wake up the next day and your battery is dead. Low voltage protection will basically just say once your vehicle's battery gets dropped to a specific voltage, this will shut off before actually killing that battery completely. You have to determine what setting you want to put it at. I usually go with medium, but I'm going to put the chart like right here, and so you can see exactly at what voltage this thing will shut off and at what voltage it will kick back on. As far as noise, this produces about 40 decibels, kind of in the same line as my other fridges. I don't like my fridges to be completely silent. Like, I want to be able to hear it so I know it's running, but at the same time I don't want it to be obnoxiously loud, and so far my other fridges have been fine. This should be okay as well. I want to go and test this thing out. I'm going to plug it into the house because I think I'll just get better power and cleaner power that way, and let's see how fast this thing will cool. All right, got it all set up. Let's go ahead and figure out how to operate this thing. Short press to turn it on, and right now, as you can see, it's both at 78 degrees. To change the temperature on the left side, which would be your fridge, they said just go ahead and go up and down. So let's set that to 35. To change the right side, which would be your freezer, press the minus button, then the settings. So if we do that, plus the other side, that says -4. Let's go ahead and go to, actually, yeah, let's go to 0 degrees so we can turn that into a freezer and see how long that'll take to get down to that level. Now, to switch from max to eco, right now it's at max. That means that it's going to run a lot harder to get it down to that temperature. But once you get to that temp, you can set it to eco so it's not drawing so much power. And to do that, go ahead and press the settings button. Just press that by itself and you'll see how it switches. And then by pressing it again, you'll be able to switch from max to eco. So let's do that. So there you go, eco, and go back to max. And then finally, if you want to set your low voltage protection, to do so, you just have to press the settings button 3 seconds until it starts to flash. And as you see right now, it's at medium. And if you want to toggle through, you can go to high, low, and then back to medium. And I want to keep it at medium. Pretty simple. Let's go ahead and see how long it'll take to go from 78 degrees, which is where it's at right now, down to 35 degrees on the fridge side and 0 degrees on the freezer side. Alright, so while that thing is cooling down, let's go ahead and open the app. I want to see how well this app works with this fridge. First thing you need to do is download the app. Just scan the QR code that's in the instructions. The app is called QZ Smart, so just go ahead and open that up. Once you have that open, you have the option of adding a device up at the very top. By the way, this is the first time I'm opening this app. I did sign up, but I haven't really played around with it yet. So let's go ahead and add the device. Hit got it. Let's go ahead and add it. Add a device. Hit OK, and then hopefully you'll be able to find nearby devices. So let's wait for that, and then we can go into pairing mode. Let me go closer. All right, it's been added. Let's hit next. Boom. Right now you have the left side, the fridge side is already down to 52 degrees. The right side, it's still at 78 degrees. So I don't know why that hasn't cooled down yet. I don't know if it needs to cool one side first. Then once that gets to temperature, then it starts to cool the other side. But right now, if you notice, the left side, which is the fridge side, I have it set to 35, and then the right side for the freezer, I have that set to 0. Right now it's drawing about 14.1 voltage. Battery protect is at medium, and mode is at max, which I'm sure if you click, nope. You can turn on the fridge on and off at the bottom. Let's take a look at more features. Temperature scale, you can set it to Fahrenheit. Mode, you can change, this is where you can change it. Max to eco, and in battery protect, you can change that there as well. Let's see what this is up here. Oh, I guess that's if you want to rename this. So let's rename this. Or let's change this to Forerunner Fridge. You can have multiple bodega fridges and name them all different things and have it all here. And then if you want to lock everything, it's the very bottom, you can click lock, and that'll lock everything so that you don't accidentally press buttons. Wow, I like the app. Really, really intuitive. It is now 5:11, so it's been 30 minutes and it has dropped, funny, on the fridge side to 31 degrees. I have it set to 35 even on the app, so I don't know why it's dropping down to 31. And then on the freezer side, it's at 38. So half an hour, it's pretty much dropped to temp and more. Let me just double check to make sure that I have that set right. But yeah, see, I have it set to 35, and if I wanted to check the other side, then let's go ahead and set the other side, and that's set to 0. So I don't know why it's dropping down to 31 degrees. I don't know if it's meant to even out at some point, but we will find out. I promise you I'm not making this up. So it is now 5:41. Remember, I started this at 4:41. So it took an exact hour for it to drop down to temperature. This was actually at 0 and it just jumped back up to 2. And then over here, remember how I was showing you that it was going below what I set it? I set it to 35 and it had dropped down to 31 and it's now at 36. And then this jumped back up to 3. So what I think it's doing is the compressor inside is finding a way to balance the two. So right now it's at 36 and 3. I'm sure this is going to drop down to 35 at the right temp, and then this will go back down to 0 once everything kind of evens out. I'll leave it on for another 5 or 10 minutes or so and see if this thing self-regulates. So I was shooting the B-roll for this thing, and then I look inside and I realize that at the very bottom, there's a drain hole. A drain hole. And I know that that's not really like a big thing in the grand scheme of things, but it kind of is. You know that things are going to bust open and spill. Here, you can just open up the drain hole, let things escape. You can even kind of rinse it with a hose and let it just drain out. That should be a standard thing on all fridges, just because it just makes things so convenient. It's just one of those things that just adds to all the many features that this thing has. I kind of want to put this in the Jeep, and the only reason why I can't is that it's too wide to fit in the platform that I made for the Iceco. Otherwise, if it fit in there, I don't know, man, I might be replacing the Iceco with this thing. I still like the Iceco. The Iceco's a champ. I'm just glad that this is able to go into the Forerunner as our dedicated fridge there. I mean, like I said, it's jam-packed full of features. I mean, let's recap. This thing cooled down really quickly. An hour, it went from 78 degrees down to 35 degrees for the fridge and 0 degrees for the freezer. So that's pretty quick. The app. I mean, the app wasn't clunky. The app worked great. It was able to sync. Anytime the fridge temperature went down or up, it reflected that on the app like immediately. So I think that's a great, great thing that they've developed an app that works really well. Multiple ways of powering it up: DC, AC, solar, and if you don't want any of that stuff, you can get one of their external batteries, plug it up into this thing, make this whole thing self-sufficient, roll it around wherever you want. Handles are good. I wish this sprung a little bit, but it's not even important because I'm really only using this to tie this fridge down. I wish they had another one of these on the other side so I can tie it down over there as well. But I do like the handle that's on the other side. I like that you're able to just grab it and then pull it out with your slide, or you can even extend it so you can roll it around. So that's a good feature. Bottle opener, of course. And then at the top, you have your ingenious slot designs for your cups. And then there's a slot for the cutting board. Speaking of which, having a cutting board, great. Lights inside. I mean, y'all know already how I feel about that. And you get 2 baskets for each side as well, which just makes it so convenient for me. I've only had 1 basket in each of my fridges. And then you have a lid where you can orient it either way you want. So once I put this in the runner, we'll figure out which way we want this thing to open. The only thing I would change is maybe taking out these wheels. And then I wish they sent me the gray one. If they had sent me a gray one, that just would have made this like the perfect fridge. But that's just me nitpicking. I really, really like this fridge. And had I only known then what I know now, then I would know what I would be shopping for. And this thing just it pretty much checks all the boxes. Honestly, this has been my favorite fridge review so far. So if you're shopping for a fridge right now, consider this one because I can't recommend it enough. And with all the features you're getting, price point isn't that bad, $475. I can't wait to get this out and see how well it performs when we're actually using it when we're overlanding and camping. But if you did enjoy this video, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and also consider supporting us on Patreon so we can continue to make more content like this. And as always, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Baptism Overland. My name is Asia Sampson, and I will see you next time.